Hi everyone, welcome back to another YouTube video. In today's video, we'll be diving into Gemini CLI. So Gemini CLI is one of the most powerful AI coding assistant that is right in your terminal. So with Gemini 3, so as you can see on the dashboard, it's used to query, edit large code base and generate apps from image or PDF and automate complex workflow all from your terminal, of course. So instead of using ChatGPT to go through a particular fancy website to start typing prompt, then copying and pasting code and stuff like that, you have all the coding assistants right in your terminal. A lot of developers actually love working with terminals than just having to work with website and stuff like that. So that's what we'll be diving in today. So we'll be going through the installation. We'll also be doing some simple use case when it comes to Gemini CLI. So we'll be doing some use case with Flutter, of course. So we'll be doing that today. By the way, if you want a full series on Gemini CLI, I mean, if you want me to actually dive deep into Gemini CLI, just drop series in the comment section and I will put it in my plans in the coming weeks or months. So without further ado, let's just get straight in. So again, as I mentioned, Gemini, well, is built by Google, of course. So Gemini is Google official terminal first AI that runs locally on in cloud. So it understands your entire code base. Either you're writing Flutter, you're writing TypeScript, you're writing whatsoever. It understands your full code base once you give it permission to do so, and it can speak the native programming language that you are writing, either Flutter, either Python, or whatsoever. So that is what Gemini CLI is really all about. So we'll just go through the installation and also some basic setup. So this is the installation. So to install Gemini CLI, if we go through the documentation now, there's pretty much simple way. So the first thing is, if you want to install globally, you have to have npm, and to have npm you need Node.js. So if you just go to Node.js, just go to Node.js, then you can just download Node.js. Although I already have Node.js installed on my system, so I won't be going through the download. So once you just go to nodejs.org, just download Node.js for your particular OS. So once you download Node.js, just install it like a normal software. So once you are done installing Node.js, then you have npm installed on your terminal. So you can just open your terminal. If you're on Windows, just open your command prompt. I think there's terminal on Windows as well. If you're on Mac, just open your terminal. So once you open your terminal, then you have access to npm, which is it comes with Node basically. So this is my terminal. I don't know why it's open here. Anyways, let me try and let me quit this. Let me move it completely to this side. Okay. All right. So this is my terminal. Let me clear this up. Then, so if we go back to the documentation, so you can see install globally. If you're on Windows, just use npm install. The -g is basically saying globally, that is anywhere on your system. So installing Gemini CLI. If you're on macOS, we'll be using brew install Gemini CLI. Although I didn't install it, but you can just copy, open your terminal, then just paste, which is brew install Gemini CLI. You can just run it. It will take a few seconds, although because I've actually installed it before, it will take like just few seconds. But for you, probably if you are just installing it for the first time, it might take a few minutes and stuff like that. So that's pretty much it. So while this is still running, I'll just quickly go through some other things. All right, so once you are done installing with brew or npm, then you are good to go. Then we can like kickstart with our Gemini command. So let me check if it's done now. All right, so you can see that it is done. So with this now, we can get started with Gemini, using Gemini command. So the first thing is, for most users, we recommend using Gemini CLI with Gemini command, which is obviously, once you install Gemini CLI on your machine, you have the command Gemini to run on your machine. If it's not successfully installed, if you type Gemini and you run it, it will say command not found or something like that, if it's not installed correctly and stuff like that. So once you are done, then we can run Gemini to see if it actually works. So if I open my terminal again, I just write the Gemini and I just hit enter, it will start the Gemini CLI command. Basically, as you can see, it's running through all the checks that are necessary now. So while we are still waiting, let me just go through some other things. So these are just installation basically. So the next thing now, we can just go to authentication. So Gemini is connected to Google AI Studio. So Google AI Studio is where you can like create API keys for almost all the Google Studio lab basically. So it's connected to all the Google AI lab. Now, for example, if you watch my last video, which is on Stitch plus anti-gravity plus Flutter, basically this video as well is more like a continuation because we'll be using the project. So I think this is the project. Let me just move this to my desktop too, so it will be easy. So this is the project we built on my last video, which is Stitch plus anti-gravity plus Flutter. So this entire code base is built with anti-gravity, and the design is designed with Google Stitch basically. So we'll be authenticating this Google CLI. So there's there's 3 ways here to actually authenticate the Google CLI. One of it is using your Google account, which is the most the recommended way. Then we have using API key. So the API key, you can get it from Google AI Studio. Then we have Vertex AI. So that is the third option. So we'll just be going through the authentication process. So if I open my terminal, I believe this should be done by now. So you can see, although because I've already authenticated, like I've signed in, as you can see, sign in with Google Samuel BBS. That's my primary Gmail account. So I already signed in my account. So for you now, once you are done installing Gemini CLI and you want to like authenticate, because you can't actually run any command without authenticating Gemini CLI. You can't perform any tags or anything whatsoever with Gemini without authentication. So once you run the Gemini command, the next thing is just write /authenticate. So you see the sign in. So once you click on the sign in, you see these 3 option. So this is the 3 option. Just use arrow up, arrow up, arrow down to move. So we have the sign in with Google, we have used Gemini API key, we have Vertex AI. So obviously I believe signing with Google is pretty simple to actually go through. So once you're on signing with Google, just click enter. It will open up a link on your browser. If you are using Chrome or any other browser, or any of your default browser, basically to open the link, so you can just sign in with Google. Then it will automatically authenticate on your terminal basically. So that's pretty much it. So I already signed in, so I won't do this again. So that's pretty much on what's it called, authentication. So once you are done with authentication, as you can see in the documentation now, individual Google account, sign in with Google, we have the organization, AI Studio user with Gemini API key, we have Google Cloud Vertex AI user. So that's pretty much it. So you can choose various way of authentication, and if you have an API key, the Google AI Studio API key, you can just go to your Google AI Studio, then get your API key from the dashboard, then just select the option of Google API key section basically. So that's pretty much it. So you can see the recommended format is Google. So let's just skip through this. Another thing now is some CLI. CLI simply means command line interface. So some interface cheat sheets, basically some of the commands that we have, which is Gemini to start the program. We have Gemini-P query non-interactively. We have a bunch of other commands that you can just go through on your own. So just head over to GeminiCLI.com/docs. So that's pretty much it on this. So another important part is Gemini CLI. As you can see, these tabs here now, we have these plans. We have the free tier, we have the Google AI Pro. If you want to upgrade, so you can have more more requests, or I can't really remember the word right now, but you can have access to higher usage limits basically. So that's AI Pro, and also access to is a bigger model or stuff like that. So Google AI Ultra as well. So you have highest user limit for our most capable models. I mean the Google models. So access to deep think as well. Basically, so all this paid, but you should be good with free for now. So if you actually need the pro version, then you can go for it. You can say for professional, for power user. So we have the individual, the team as well, Google Developer Program, and also the API killer as well. So that's the plan. So another interesting feature is also extensions. So Google CLI, I don't know why I'm mentioning Google, but Gemini CLI is also has an extension where you can connect your favorite tools and personalize your AI command line. So if I search Flutter now, so if you just come here, Flutter, so you can see Flutter here. So you can just copy this and install. I already installed it in my own Gemini. So if you just copy Gemini extension install, so just come to your terminal. I can just quit this. Let me just say Command C. So let's see, I've quit this. So I can just paste this Gemini extension, install this Gemini extension for Flutter basically. So that's pretty much it. So I've installed the Flutter extension. With this, the Gemini CLI will better understand my Flutter project and how it will basically have access to the native data and Flutter code base basically. So that's pretty much on the extension. So there are different extensions here that you can actually you can actually check through. So that's how it works basically. So you can see different extension that you might want to use here. So that's pretty much it on this. Then basically the docs, the documentation, where you can have access to every other thing that is needed here. So if you want to dive deep into Gemini CLI, then you can just go through the documentation. All right, so enough of documentation. Now let's go to the code part. So as I mentioned, this particular project is in our last video where I built with Stitch for design, anti-gravity for the code agent, and Flutter for our mobile development basically. So today now we'll just be using Gemini CLI to make some adjustments to this particular project, to take it and to do different things on this our project. So this project will be on GitHub. This is the project right here. So I've uploaded it to GitHub. So all the adjustments that we'll be making today as well will be on GitHub. So I will make sure to drop the link in the description of this video, so you can just check it out and probably start from there. All right, so now one of the first thing now is when you are, although I've actually run some command on this project already, Gemini CLI, when I was practicing Gemini CLI myself. So I used this project as a test run. So to initiate a Flutter project, to initiate Gemini into a Flutter project, first off, you can actually enable that. You can actually enable Gemini CLI in your .dat SDK basically, and to do that, you can just run that pub global. So global, let's say activate. So you can just say Gemini _CLI, so like that, simple and straightforward. So this is just installing Gemini CLI into our .dat SDK as well. So it will, I've already installed it. As you can see, it's currently active at the version blah blah blah. So I've already installed it, so you can as well install it. So Gemini CLI can be active in your .dat SDK. So that's number one. So the next thing now is we can now initialize Gemini into this our Flutter project. So to do that, just Gemini init basically, and just say Flutter like that. So init Flutter, I believe you can see. Let me try to zoom in a little bit more. All right, so Gemini init Flutter. So this will start the Gemini interface basically. So as you can see, Gemini CLI, this is the version I'm currently on. My account details, also my current plan. I can use /upgrade to upgrade, and some other things basically. So let me scroll Okay, I don't know why this duplicates. I think it's an error from Gemini interface. Anyways, so it's initiating the Flutter project. As you can see now, the init Flutter now is now. You need to notice that the Gemini first off is like we initiating the Gemini AI coding assistant itself. So when we say init Flutter, that means we are saying initialize the Flutter environment, get the project, check through all the project, understand the project, and read through the code base. In essence, that's what you are telling Gemini to do with the init Flutter. So that's pretty much what it's doing. So you can see how it is going through the whole project. You say I will read through pub spec.yam file to understand the project configuration and dependency. This also is basically just going through the whole project. So this will take a while. So let's just wait for it to actually go through it. If it's taking too much time, I might just stop it because I've actually done this already. Alright, so it's done initializing the Flutter project. Actually, I have to cancel it because I've done this already, so it's just taking too much time. So the next thing now is actually there's a Google CLI companion extension on VS Code and any other VS Code for projects like Cursor, Anti-Gravity, and the like. So you can just search Gemini CLI, so CLI companion basically. So this is the extension, so you can just install it. As you can see, I've installed it already. So how it works basically, if you go through your extensions, I actually have a lot of extension already. So Gemini Code Assistant, so if you open it, it will open a tab here. So with this as well, you can, let me try to adjust this a little. Alright, so with this you'll be able to like actually copy or just select some probably a code phrase, then you can actually use it. As you can see, as I select, as you can see that it is already referenced inside our Gemini code base, which is meant of that line 13 to 23, including export. So I can just click on it, then I can just type something to make adjustments to this particular lines of code, but we are not doing that for now. So that is a pretty straightforward thing to do and also easy to actually work with. So with the Gemini Code Assistant here. All right, so the next thing now about this Gemini CLI is prompt engineering basically. So although I don't really like vibe coding, I mean totally depending on AI to actually build a full project. I've never used it in a real project before. I mean depending strongly on AI to actually do all the coding and just sit and just accept whatever the AI is doing. I've mostly used it for my YouTube tutorials and just playing around stuff basically. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that when it comes to prompt engineering, there's need to be clarity and giving context. Basically, like you have to be ridiculously specific about what you actually want, because AI, I've actually noticed it, you can ask AI to do one thing and it will eventually do like 3 more things. I mean, touch different theory or that things that you specifically or you didn't ask the AI agent to actually work on, and that is one of the things that you have to be very specific on what the AI agent should do and also give context. So one of the templates you have here now, so I will give like we'll walk through 3 templates of let's say prompt engineering, so we can as well use it in this project, a simple project basically. So the first one is code generation. So if you want to generate a code now, so it is easier said. I mean, we can easily say using Riverpod, although we're already using Riverpod on this project. I'm not sending this prompt, it's just like an example. Using Riverpod 3, let's just say 3 plus latest Flutter version. Just say I think Flutter is on 3. Let's just say 3.29 using Riverpod 3 plus and latest Flutter 3.29 best practices. Just tell it like that. Generate a clean let's say typed feature feature-based provider with loading. This is slash error state. So we can as well say include test. We can as well specify that the project should use material theory. Project uses, let's say, material theory like this, and let's say impeller like that. So that's pretty much, although this is still not really like very specific in a way, like the way we say Flutter best practices. Actually, we can say follow MVVM structure and stuff like that. Use this package, use that package, and use this for navigation, use this for network request and stuff like that. You can be more specific like that. But when it comes to AI, when it comes to prompt engineering, when it comes to code generation as well, that's like template one. You need to be very specific in what you're typing to the AI agent. So let me just remove this. So the next thing now, the template is refactoring. So when you're like, let's say we are refactoring a code, this particular prompt now is like want to actually generate like a new project, something like that, because of this specification that and the context that we give the AI agent. But when we just want to refactor a code, let's say on this profile screen, now if I go to the profile of this app, on this profile screen, I want to adjust some things here. So that is like refactoring a code. So with this now, we can say, let's say, refactor this widget to fix, let's say, impeller jumps, or let's just say impeller jumps, or loading, lazy loading or stuff like that. We can also specify that use constant constructors. Let's say okay, use constant constructor. Let's say everywhere possible, and so use constant constructor. Let me even check through the code so we can probably make some adjustments to this design. Basically, well, none of this is clickable. Okay, let me just say to this dark mode settings, the switch should be able to switch, although not like functional. Okay, so let me select this. All right, so let's get started. Let me just delete this. So we can just try something out. So I can say on the profile screen, refactor the dark mode. Refactor the dark mode child. Refactor the dark mode type. Basically make the switch functional. Okay, make the switch functional. Just the switch, not just the switch, not literally dark mode or light mode functionality. So we can just give it like that and send this prompt. So just make the switch functional, not basically light mode and dark mode. So that is like a refactory, like we're trying to refactor something. So that's pretty much. So we can go something like refactor this particular widget, fix this list of items, make it responsive, increase the probably adaptiveness, basically improve the performance of the app. We can as well say move heavy computation outside of build, add proper repent boundary, keep the exact same API, check through the security level of the network reset and stuff like that. So that's basically for refactoring. So let's just check for this to be done. So we can just go through the third template that I have. So I can actually start a demo. Okay, actually, I don't know why the AI agent is taking forever actually to actually finish up a simple task. Probably it's my network, but I'm pretty sure my network is very fast. Well, let's just give it time. But regardless, let me just quickly go through some other things so we can just call it a day. So the as I mentioned earlier, I mentioned template one, which is code generation. When you want to like create a project, basically sorry, okay, it already asked for something, and I'm sure this Gemini is already doing what I didn't ask it to do. I only asked it to actually make the switch functional and not implement dark mode and light mode. But as you can see, it's already implementing light mode and dark mode. But anyways, let's just go through some other things as I was saying. So we have template 1, which is code generation, template 2 refactoring, and the template 3, which is debugging. So that is where we can use prompts like analyze a particular crash log and like just give me an there's a solution to this particular crash log, basically. So that's like just debugging like with Gemini CLI, and that's pretty much on prompt engineering, where we have the code generation, refactoring, and also debugging. There's a lot of other commands that I would love to try, but because of time, my articles will be in the description. You can get all the commands that I will be typing there as well. I would love to invite you to join my newsletter. So my newsletter is where I send out weekly newsletter, basically on for example, this particular YouTube video, and also some of the prompts that I will might probably remember later on and just add it to the newsletter. Any trending news on Flutter, on software engineering in general, any new innovation and stuff like that. That's what I'll be basically publishing on my newsletter. So just go to techwithsam.dev/newsletter. So here now you can just submit your name and just subscribe for free. So and you make sure, keep in mind that spam is just one article in a week. So make sure to just subscribe, and I would love to see you there. So that's pretty much on Gemini CLI. With Flutter, there's still pretty much some of the final tips I can give. Final tips basically, and common let's say pitfall is you can always run Gemini Project Sync after big let's say post-spec changes. So I think the Gemini is actually done now. So you can see it said I have refactored the dark mode on the profile scan to make the switch functional. I created a new provider to switch. I updated profile scanning, so on and so forth. To switch now, toggle its visual state when click, while keeping the app overall theme logic separate as requested. Alright, okay, let me restart the app because it's still not working as you ought to. So let's just restart the app. Let's see if it will work basically. Okay, why is restart taking? I think probably I think there's an error somewhere. Alright, where is this error coming from? Okay, let's choose this. So let's restart again. So as you can see here, I can easily make mistake. Is the one that actually create the error without importing the package. Alright, so let's just go to profile. As you can see, so this is the toggle switch. Okay, so this is the switch I actually asked it to do, that it takes forever, that normal software engineer will have adjusted just by calling switch with just simple as ABC. But anyway, regardless, we are going through it. So that is pretty much what I asked it to do, and that's what the Google CLI did basically. So as I was saying, for final tips, always run Gemini Project Sync. In your terminal, you can just create another terminal like this. You can just run. Let me clear this. So let me move this a little bit up. So you can run Gemini. Let me expand this so you can see. So Gemini project sync. So this one is to synchronize the project. Also, you can add hyphen local flag when you want zero cloud costs, basically, because as you are running this command, if you check through the plans, let me just go through the plans here. I think let me go through the document. I think there's a place where they put plans or okay, quotation. So you have 1000 requests, and as you are sending requests, it's counting. So especially if you are on free trial, basically, so you have 1000 requests. So when you run hyphen local, it does not, it has zero cloud cost, basically. So that's pretty much it on Gemini CLI. So also never accept the first output, iterate. Give the AI agents like more explanation, be more concise if you notice any error, and add more error handling as well, because AI is just an assistant, not to take over the whole project. So make sure AI still make mistake, like a very big mistake in every project here, and they don't really trust what they are generating. That's pretty much it. So that's that on this video, and that's one of the most powerful AI coding workflow for Flutter developer, and also for software engineers in general, inside our terminal, basically. If you love this video, if you have ever tried Gemini CLI personally before, let me know what you think in the comment. If you have not subscribed to this YouTube video, make sure you do that. Hit that like button and drop an honest comment. I can't wait to see you in another YouTube video. Bye for now.